going to take a deep dive into our dreams.
Yeah, it's great to welcome to the 6 o'clock show psychologist Michael Murphy. Hello, Michael. How are you doing? Great to have you with us.
Thanks very much. It's my pleasure.
Michael, we're going to dive straight into it. We're talking about dreams here this evening. Why do we dream, first up?
Well, the latest research shows that we're updating our survival strategies when we dream. So not only that, dreams are coming from what's called the limbic system, a very ancient part of our brain. And it has to do with memory and also helping us to go forward each day, each month, each year. So our dreaming is very, very important, and it goes back thousands of years in humankind. So it's important to pay attention to our dreams, because really they're coming from the hard disk in the computer, if you like. And by paying attention to that cinemascope screen of our life, we're continually looking through, just like through the aperture of our mobile phones. But that cinemascope screen has our best interests at heart. So by paying attention to that, we can get some direction going forward in our lives.
And when you say paying attention to our dreams and we remember them and want to analyse them, can you tell us if there are any links between our dreams and our emotions?
Well, that limbic system actually has to do with our emotions. So always there is a huge emotional charge in our dreams. And it's often good to pay attention to that. Say, what is the emotion? Why am I feeling upset? Or, our dreams can sometimes last into the next day. And it'll be important to examine the feelings that are around that and see where they're actually occurring in our everyday lives. And again, as I say, that will give us a direction going forward.
Now, Michael, this happens me a lot. I often get lost in my dreams. And what does it mean when you actually lose yourself in your dream?
Well, you're actually saying it there, Derek. I'm lost. Think of the scenario. You're out in the middle of the countryside and you're lost. You have no direction. So,
Thanks.
The feelings that are coming, that are all around that, feelings of abandonment, I'm sure it happened to us as a child. You're in the supermarket and the next thing, Mammy is gone. So those feelings of panic and terror often have to do with those feelings of being lost. But it'd be important as an adult to examine where that's happening today. Where am I actually feeling lost in my life, or what has that to do with?
Now, a lot of us have dreams where we're either being chased, or even personally, like a dream where you're being a bit, when you're frustrated, people are not receptive to what you're saying or what you're doing. How would you interpret that kind of dream?
Well, the chase dream is an interesting one because it's generally a shadow dream, part of ourselves that we've had to lop off. For example, I don't know, maybe anger. We're told as kids, it's not good to be angry. But as an adult, you realize that actually anger is an important emotion. And if you're feeling that, that's what you're feeling. So it can help us as adults to be more bold or to be more adventurous. So that's what I'd say about that shadow part of being chased. What was the other part of your question, Kathy, there? What were you asking?
A dream regarding frustration.
Frustration,
yeah.
Yes, where you can be frustrated. Again, obviously what's happening in everyday life is there are people who are not receptive to what we have to say. And it's useless to try and convince them. So really you have to find out maybe a symbolic family who are more open to listening to what you have to say. And then that frustration will disappear. In other words, the dream it's a warning dream, a frustration dream.
Now, Michael, speaking of weird and wacky dreams, I had a strange one last night, and I was in the Swiss Alps. I was on a train going down a long, dark tunnel, but I couldn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. There was a lot of people on the train, and I was looking for someone, but I couldn't find them. This all happened last night. What does that mean?
There you are now. It's interesting. The train is something very rigid. if you're walking somewhere, or even if you're on a bicycle, you're able to move about and go down laneways and decide to stop when you want and all of that sort of thing. You can't do that on a train. It's something very rigid about it. It's taking you from A to B. The Swiss Alps is the Gotthard base is the longest and deepest tunnel in the world. And you mentioned that you can't see an end to it, really. You're looking for someone, you can't find them on the train. So it's a double, it's an underlining of the difficulty involved, that you're not being successful in whatever you want to do, which is to find a particular person. So I would say have a look at that rigidity. What is that rigidity that is there on the train? Why isn't it something more like walking or running or on a bicycle where you can control what's going on? You are being brought from A to B. I wonder, Derek, is it actually something to do with a constant broadcasting night after night after night after night?
Probably is. Those early mornings taking a toll.
It's the early mornings.
Well done, Kelly. It's taking a toll. So really, you need a better, maybe, a life-work balance or something. Yeah. Maybe that's what it's pointed to. You'd know better.
Now, Michael, we have a dream in from a viewer, Niall from Dublin, and he says, I wake up and there's 2 dogs on my bed. One belongs to my friend David. The other one is my friend Shane's dog. I call both of them, and they're both really annoyed because they've been looking everywhere for their dogs. They want an explanation, but I don't have one. And that's where the dream ends.
Dream ends. So here you have 2 dogs are companions. They are instinctive companions. So it's doubled up on that dream again. There are 2 dogs involved. So Niall, who is having this dream, should really look to his instincts. And it's important to see what type of dog it is. For example, if it's a Doberman, Louis Doberman was a tax collector and he developed the Doberman dog to protect him, a guard dog. If it's something like a gun dog, a Labrador, or retriever, these are deeply affectionate dogs. Or maybe the terrier. The terrier seizes the day. So these dogs belonging to his friends are really important. What sort of dogs are they? What sort of instincts need to be developed by Niall so that he can move forward with his life? And also another thing you'd say is dogs are very like their owners. So is it Shane and David? They are the owners of the dog. Yeah. And it'd be good to see what sort of qualities their dogs have and what qualities they themselves have that would be useful to Niall in his everyday life. Right. So that's what I'd say that dream is about.
Good insight there, Michael. Next up, we have another viewer dream. They say they're having similar dreams for the past few months, but they're working in a bar. Now, they said they used to work in a bar, in a particularly busy bar in their 20s, around 20 years ago, but in each dream they have, the bar looks different.
Now, if the dream is repeating, which this is, it hasn't been understood. That's the first thing we'd say. And when they were in their 20s, they worked in a particularly busy bar. Okay. So they're now in the middle age, in their 40s, and they don't have the same energy or youthful energy that you would have when you would start, or this person starting out in working in the bar. But particularly busy is a phrase that's interesting there. I would say that this person's life at the moment is particularly busy, and that's why they're having this dream repeating, to warn them that they are too busy and they need to cool things down. So I'd ask them to pay attention to that dream and, where they can, relieve the pressure, get rid of the pressure, because it's particularly busy, too busy for them to cope with at the moment.
Michael, what causes reoccurring dreams?
The recurring dreams come when we haven't understood them. And what normally happens is they repeat versions of the dream, repeat and repeat, and until they're eventually screaming at us to do something about this. When it's not understood, that's why the dream repeats, but also it is urging us to take action. Our unconscious is urging us to do something about whatever problem is dramatized in the dream. And when we do that, then it would stop repeating.